Hi everyone, this is my presentation. I thought you might like this picture. I think if some of us can see this in our classrooms already, and some of us feel like the teacher up at front. So, as you can tell, I'm going to be talking about smartphones. We are in the 21st century, and I do think within the next 3 years, by 2020, smartphones and handheld devices are really going to be far more, or hopefully far more, incorporated into school curriculum. I think we need, as educators and as educational institutions, to not stick our heads in the sand and ignore technology. This has not worked well for businesses, other businesses in the past. If we look at history, if we look at the music industry pretty much has died because they ignored the advances in technology and didn't pay attention to it. And now look what happened. But the one thing, and the reason I really want to, I think smartphones are going to be the biggest thing is, and handheld devices, is because they're convenient. The kids have them, they all carry them, they know how to use them, they know how to manipulate them, and they're actually, they offer sometimes a lot more than, say, what we can on a whiteboard. These kids are also wired. These are 21st century learners. They have, as babies, been given these tech toys to play with. They are just wired for technology, very different from my generation or the generation before mine. The one thing about, of course, technology is we do have to be careful because, obviously there comes a lot of risks, and we are schools, and we have to offer a safe environment. So we have to be cognizant of the risks that are involved with the technology. And also, we have to show the students how to use the technology appropriately, especially within schools, because this is something, and we can't do that unless we are up to date and up to speed with the technologies that are out there. Gone are the days where the school bully, like Gripper, would pick on Roland. Now, I mean, it's really, people are being bullied through, messaging, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, you name it, Instagram. And this is, we have to really realize that and be very aware of it. And that has grown considerably, but I think a lot of teachers still, a lot of educators still aren't quite, don't know quite enough about it yet. So a lot of us feel lost, a lot of us feel confused. We don't really know how to incorporate technology into our classes. One thing I will say about schools is we have been consistently inconsistent with the use of technology in school. And this isn't just from school to school or country to country. This is within one compound, from class to class. One teacher uses it, one teacher doesn't. And why is that? Well, probably there is, the old-fashioned teacher that isn't really quite, up to speed and doesn't really want to learn about it. But it's more to it than that. I think, there's judgment that's laid on technology. A lot of this technology, especially smartphones and tablets, they haven't been out for, 10 years. They've only just probably are at their birthday right now. So they're in infancy, so there's not that much research behind it. And we have to understand that. But we need to have vision. We have to, see into the future and see where education should be going. One of the things that's very important if we are bringing these handheld devices into school is there's got to be policies in place. I think it's paramount just to ensure that we are providing a safe environment for students. Our school doesn't do it right now. I know a lot of schools are, so schools are still lagging behind here. Technology that I've used, I'm a geography teacher, so obviously I use Google Earth. The kids use it on their phones in my class. GPS devices. I've used this game to build when I taught Roman history. The boys really like this because it actually made them understand what to do, not just regurgitate information. I know language teachers, they use Duolingo. I'm using it right now to try and learn Spanish. Math teachers use this, various math programs that are out there. This is one that my colleague uses. So we have to advance and change, but we also have to understand that technology is advancing and changing on a dime. And the biggest thing is we have to incorporate it into the curriculum. And I think that's the reason why it's not being adapted in schools, or it's not being used as much as it should be, because it's not in the curriculum. So we're lagging behind. We are not where we need to be, especially with 21st century learners, and especially where they need to go. But a lot of this has to do with money. It's going to cost a lot of money to rewrite curriculum, to put it in there. And not only do we have to rewrite it maybe once, but because technology changes on a dime, we're going to constantly have to massage that curriculum every couple of years, or else it's going to be obsolete and not relevant to the students. So again, a lot of money involved. The other thing is it needs to be standardized. The use of technology, I just find, is kind of just thrown in like a golden nugget. So, I'm a geography teacher and they say use technology, but they don't tell me how to use it, where to use it, why I'm using it, and how it's being assessed. And I think a lot of curriculum are like that. They don't really do that. And I think that's the reason why it's not being used throughout schools. So we are facing an uphill battle, that's for sure. But this is 21st century education, and we have to, be aware of it if we're going to actually somehow get across to 21st century learners. They don't get us, we probably don't get them, but we have to find some sort of middle ground. So we have to keep looking forward. And we have to stay relevant. Education has to stay relevant. And what's happening as technology keeps growing is the relevance, this middle section, is just getting smaller and smaller. And that relevance is education in school. And we really have to be careful, because if we're not, school won't exist anymore. Not as we know it. So it's either we adapt or we die, like the other industries have done before us. We always have to look at the future. Let's not look at the past anymore. And this is a huge growing industry. Technology is going to grow exponentially. And if you don't want to teach, or maybe it's another avenue, instead of becoming a principal or vice principal, etc., or department head, maybe you can move into the field of selling technology to schools. Because as far as I'm concerned, show me the money. If it's good, I'll go for it. And that's probably why I'm doing this course. So we have to move with the future. Technology, we can't escape it. It is the future. We just got to get over it, and we got to make sure it is throughout education. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed yours, and I'd appreciate some comments. Bye.